Hello everyone, my name's Zoe. I'm sure you have come here for some juicy mother-in-law stories, and I sort of have one for you. I'll give you a warning that my story does have a tragic side as well. But don't worry, justice was served and my evil mother-in-law, Nessa, did get her karma in the end. To start my story, I must mention that I met my husband Logan in college. We were both studying abroad and I had no idea how horrible his mom truly was. From what I had heard from Logan, I only had admiration for the woman. Nessa was a single mom to Logan since his dad died when he was a teenager. It was a rather tragic situation. While coming home from a dad-son trip, their car crashed and only Logan survived it. His father was alive for a very short while and passed away 2 days after the incident. Logan had moderate physical wounds, but his mental trauma was something that just wouldn't go away. Logan had always talked about how he was grateful to have his mom step in and take care of him. Nessa was a fighter and raised a fine young man, so I only had positive thoughts about Nessa until I actually met her. This is how our first meeting went. Nessa, I'm so happy to meet you. I was actually looking forward to getting to know you because of the stories Logan told me. You truly are a remarkable woman. That I am, Zoe. I'm glad you could see that early on. I'm not someone to be messed with. I did have to suffer a lot raising Logan alone. Yes, you have truly raised a fine young man. Logan has landed such a great job and is so good at taking care of others. He loves you a lot, you know. He has achieved so much to make you happy. I hope you're proud of him. Why should I be proud of him? Logan has only done the bare minimum. I deserve that after losing my husband due to his stupidity. I swear Logan had gone rock beside me. I was seriously taken aback by Nessa's words as well. I had no idea how to react to that. What Nessa said was nothing short of mean and horrible. I said, "What do you mean, Nessa? It's very unfortunate that your husband died in an accident, but what does Logan have to do with it?" "Oh, well, he had everything to do with it. If Logan had not insisted on leaving me alone and going on a dad-son trip, my husband would still be alive. It is because of him that I lost my dear husband. Am I right, Logan?" "Yes, you're right, Mom. I really shouldn't have insisted on that trip. I'm sorry, Mom." Did you see that, Zoe? Even Logan accepts his mistake. That is one of the reasons why he is so close to me. I am his responsibility now. Let me warn you, Zoe. Logan will always put me before you. He will always remember his duty to me. Guys, the dinner was an eye-opener for me. I sat there in shock while Logan kept his head down and just took the blame for his father's death. Nessa had a gala time blaming him and reminding him how she should always be his priority. I stayed with Nessa for 2 days and what I heard broke my heart. Nessa actively blamed Logan and has been doing it his entire life. That way she kept him under her thumb and made him fund her life. It was just bizarre and I felt bad for Logan. One night I sat him down and tried to make him understand how wrong Nessa was. I said, "Logan, you shouldn't listen to your mother. She's just trying to control you by shifting the blame for the accident on you. This is not okay." "Zoe, Mom's right. In a way, I am responsible for Dad's passing. I've already accepted it. You don't have to feel sorry for me." "Logan, you are crazy. You need to seriously get some distance from your mom and analyze her ways. She's emotionally manipulating you and taking advantage of you." "Look, Zoe, even if you're right, what can I do? I need to take care of her. She's the only one I have left. Before my dad died, I had promised him that I would do everything to help my mom. I can't back down on that promise. It's true that I took Dad away from her. I want to make up for that mistake. It's my duty." I tried my best to make Logan understand what a snake his mom was. But he would never listen to me. Nessa made good use of his fresh trauma and manipulated him into thinking that he owed Nessa everything in his life. Nessa was taking full advantage of that. My good opinion about her was already in shambles and I started to hate her. Nessa wasn't stupid. She knew that I would try to make Logan see the truth about her, so she constantly created trouble between me and Logan. Despite everything, I married Logan because he was an amazing man. I knew that his love for me was true. I also knew that I couldn't just walk away from him knowing how vulnerable he was. We got married, and soon Logan purchased an expensive mansion for us. Guess who showed up right after we moved in? Yes, it was Nessa. One day she just showed up with her stuff and declared that she would stay with us. Why, you may ask? Of course, because she deserves it for losing her husband due to Logan's fault. I swear even typing this out makes me want to knock her out. You could only imagine my anger when she sat in front of me and berated Logan for not inviting her sooner. Logan, of course, gave in and allowed her to stay. He was already shouldering her expenses and paying her rent, so it was nothing new for her. But it turned out to be a nightmare for me. Nessa made my life a living hell. She started to manipulate Logan into thinking that I was a gold digger who didn't want him to take care of her. Yes, I didn't want Logan to shoulder all of Nessa's expenses because she was a toxic manipulator and abuser. I don't know why she thought I was a gold digger because I contributed to the household and had a job, albeit not as good as Logan. Anyway, after a year of fights and screaming matches, I have had enough and left the house. I moved into a friend's empty apartment and gave Logan an ultimatum. I said, "Listen to me, Logan. I can't live with your mom like this. We have been taking all her responsibilities, and she is still running around abusing us. Hell, she had moved on to trying to break us up. I can't take this anymore. You refuse to punish her or do anything about this situation." "Zoe, what can I do? You know I can't speak against my mom. I'm the reason she's alone and without a partner. I don't have the place to tell her off." "I'm so sorry, Zoe. I want to support you, but I don't know how." "Listen to me, Logan. You have to see past your mom's manipulating tactics and take a stand for us. This can't continue. I won't go back to that house while she's there. If you think you can't do anything, then it's best we get a divorce." I was honestly tired of Nessa and at the end of my wits, so it was natural for me to consider divorce. I didn't want to be with someone who wouldn't stand up for me. But Logan wasn't willing to let me go. He immediately panicked and started to beg. He said, "Zoe, I can't evict my mom from the house. I promised my father that I'd take care of her. I won't be able to make her homeless or kick her out. But I will buy a new house, Zoe. I'll sell whatever I own and buy a house for you." "No, I don't think that would be a good idea. As much as I want to get away from your mother, I also don't want to financially cripple you." "Fine then, you can. I'll pay the down payment and take a mortgage. I promise I'll get you away from my mother. If I leave her the house, she will at least create less problems in our life. I'll slowly cut her off, Zoe. I promise you that I will make sure you never face this situation again." Logan literally begged me to give him a chance. I won't lie to you guys, but I did feel hesitant to accept his request. I did love him a lot, but I was doubtful that his mom would leave us alone. However, after a lot of careful consideration, I decided to give him a chance. But things would be different for us. It was hard to start a new life with Logan. Nessa threw a fit when he talked about moving out. Thankfully, Logan pacified her by saying that the house would be hers and she wouldn't have to leave her favorite place. Also, Logan promised to send her an allowance every month so that she wouldn't have to fend for herself. While this was going on, I continued to stay apart from my husband. I wanted to see his resolve and only waited till he had purchased a house and started the mortgage payments. He was the one who set everything up, so I knew he was serious. 2 months after the house purchase, I moved back in with Logan. Nessa threw a fit and tried to cause problems. She stormed into our new house and said, "Why the hell is that witch back with you, Logan? I thought we had gotten rid of her for good. You don't need a gold digger in your life like that. Look at this, Logan. She even made you buy a new house." "Mom, you have no right to say what I do with my own marriage. You wanted Zoe gone, but I didn't. We have decided to mend our relationship and marriage. You should be happy for us." "Why the hell would I be happy, Logan? First, Zoe tried to kick me out of your house, and now she made you buy her a new house. She's just proving me right in thinking that she is a gold digger. Why would you still want that in your life? Mom, I love Zoe. Buying a new place was solely my decision. Zoe had nothing to do with it. You are not a saint either, Mom. You did create a host of problems for Zoe, too. So far, I have never stood up against you, but you are taking things too far. Don't make me regret supporting you, Mom. My dear mother-in-law turned pale when Logan talked to her like that. She had never expected Logan to stand up for me like that. I know that to most people it is nothing remarkable, but to me it was. I knew how much mental strength it took Logan to stand up to his mom. Nessa, of course, cried and lamented about how he was treating her very cruelly. It was a complete drama, and I wisely kept my mouth shut. I didn't want to interfere and somehow give Nessa the chance to make me the bad guy again. Plus, I didn't even have to say anything. Logan continued to covertly threaten Nessa about cutting off her monthly allowance if she continued to cause problems. That shut her up eventually, but Nessa's words also gave me some food for thought. When Nessa was gone, Logan started to apologize to me again for his mom's words. He was worried that I would bolt after this small incident. He was really caught between a rock and a hard place. It honestly made me feel very sad for him. It was then that I decided that we needed some more changes. I said, Logan, I really appreciate how you stood up for me today. I know it's not enough and a little late, but I appreciate it anyway. I will do that again if Mom tries to create problems, Zoe. Please don't leave me again. I swear I will make things right. Logan, I'm not leaving for now. But we would need a little more change after today's incident. It has got me thinking about certain stuff and what more needs to be done. Logan immediately jumped to hear my suggestions. It warmed my heart to know that he was willing to do what it takes to make us happy. That's how I got the confidence to proceed with my suggestions. I said, first of all, I think we need to see a therapist. We need both individual therapy and couples therapy. It will help us fix our relationship better and make you unlearn that shit that Nessa has been teaching you since your childhood. Absolutely, Zoe. I've been thinking about the same thing. It's difficult for me to stand up to my mom due to my childhood. Mom really made sure I always felt guilty about standing up to her. Only therapy can help me in this regard. What else do you have in mind? I would like to start paying the mortgage on this house. What? No. I decided to buy a new house. I need to prove to you that I am committed to us, Zoe. You already proved to me that you are committed to making this marriage work. But I need the world to know that I am not a gold digger. For that, I need to have an equal contribution to this house. You already made the down payment, so I will take over the mortgage payment. Eventually, we will put both our names on this house. Logan did protest a lot when I suggested this. He was adamant that he would pay for the whole house. Hell, he even suggested I put my name on the deed without paying anything. But I strongly disagreed with that. I knew that if I had taken up his offer, his mother would be proven right. She would have convinced everyone that I am after Logan's money, which I am definitely not. The best course of action was for me to pay the mortgage and eventually have my name added to the house. After a lot of discussion, I convinced Logan to do what I had planned. From the next month onward, I started the mortgage payments on the house. 2 years passed and things were great between me and Logan. In our new house, we were able to have a happy married life away from Nessa. She did try to meddle and cause problems, but Logan put her back in her place every time. Therapy helped a lot, and Logan was able to let go of the guilt that his mother had instilled in him. The two of us were very happy, and Nessa was a distant problem from our past. But everything came crashing down when Logan was diagnosed with a rare disease. The diagnosis came late, and there was very little we could do to help him. He was given 4 months to live. It is difficult for me to describe what the diagnosis did to me. It is even more difficult to explain my mental condition when he passed away just 3 months into the diagnosis. What I can say is that I was able to make the most of what little time I had left with Logan. Thankfully, Nessa didn't interfere much, or rather Logan didn't allow her to. But when he was gone, Nessa didn't stop the venom spilling out. Just 2 days after Logan's death, she strolled into my house like she owned it. I was angry and said, "What the hell are you doing here, Nessa? I told you to stay away." "Why would I listen to you, Zoe? This house will soon be mine anyway. I've just come to see it before I take full ownership of the place." "You are freaking crazy, Nessa. This house is mine. There is no way in hell that I would let you take it from me." "Oh, darling, this house was Logan's till he died. I know that you guys never ended up adding your name to the deed. Before he died, Logan had promised me that I would receive this house in his will." Nessa's words made me panic instantly. She was right about the house. As the years passed, we didn't have the chance to put my name on the deed. It was actually still completely in Logan's name. Now, Nessa was saying that Logan had promised her the house. I had a hard time believing that Logan had betrayed me so cruelly, but until the will was read, there was no way to tell. On the day of Logan's funeral, things were tense between me and Nessa. We were both pretty sad, although Nessa made a big show of crying every time someone came near her. How did I know? Well, she actually smirked at me when people left me to comfort her. It was starting to get on my nerves, especially because I really wanted to grieve my late husband in peace. I didn't want to make that day about me, so I kept my mouth shut and avoided any confrontations. The real drama started when me and Nessa were called by Logan's lawyer to read the will. When the will was finally read, I discovered to my great horror that Logan had indeed named Nessa as the new owner of the new house. I was honestly in shock while Nessa laughed in my face and kept saying how Logan would always put her above me. The lawyer sort of gave her the stink eye to keep her quiet while he read the next part of the will. While I couldn't understand why Logan would give Nessa a house that I was paying for, the lawyer read the rest of Logan's will. Nessa didn't pay attention to it because she was busy laughing at me, but I knew what my dear husband had done when the entire will was read. I smiled a little at Nessa when the lawyer said, "So, as you can see, the smaller house that was purchased recently will go to Mrs. Nessa here." Oh God, my son does love me a lot, doesn't he? He left me 2 freaking houses while his gold digger wife didn't get anything. I'm not sure you understand the will correctly, Mom. Maybe instead of laughing at your daughter-in-law, you should have paid more attention to the last part of the will. What? What are you talking about? Well, let me put these simple words for you, Mom. The bigger house that you're living in right now is going to Zoe, and the smaller house with an active mortgage is going to you. This means you will have to empty your existing place and take on the mortgage at the smaller house. Nessa's face completely changed when she realized what Logan had done. Her precious son hadn't left her everything in his will. Instead, he had left her a small house with an outstanding mortgage that she would have to shoulder. I, his wife, ended up inheriting the bigger house from which Nessa had forcefully made me move. It was the last bit of revenge that my dear husband took on my behalf. Nessa was in complete shock. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. She said, "Excuse me? What are you even talking about? That can't be true. My son would never do that to me. You are lying. This is some sort of a scheme against me." "You are accusing me of being unprofessional, Mom? That is a serious allegation that I won't entertain. I will provide you with a copy of the will so that you can cross-check the facts." "Oh, hell yes. I'm going to take a copy and see for myself." The lawyer looked pretty ticked off as he handed us both the will. True to his words, the will stated what the lawyer had already told us. My husband hadn't betrayed me. He actually screwed Nessa over as a last act of revenge. I knew he did it for both me and him. He was finally able to teach Nessa a lesson. Seeing Nessa's face, I could tell that she wasn't pleased. She started to cry and yell at both me and the lawyer. It was just bizarre the way she was behaving. Even the lawyer looked like he was at the end of his wits. Nessa kept saying, "This is bullshit. This can't happen. Someone has sabotaged this will." "This will is 100% genuine, Mom. Mr. Logan had himself drawn it up a month before he died. And this will is rock solid. I will contest this will. I won't let Zoe take what's rightfully mine. I will sue you, Zoe." "Go right ahead, Nessa. Your son has made sure that the will is ironclad. You can't do anything about it. If you want to contest, you will have to use your own money. By the way, I hope you realize your allowance will stop from next month." Nessa looked at me in panic when I said that. She hadn't thought about that either. She was so used to having Logan take care of her that she didn't even plan what would happen when he wasn't around. I guess she had really thought that Logan would leave her everything in his will. So my little warning sparked some doubts in her. She said, No, that can't be possible. I'm entitled to an allowance, right? I didn't think so, ma'am. Since there is no clause about an allowance, it means you are not entitled to any. Besides, the will clearly says that all monetary possessions of my late client will go to his wife, so any allowance you get will depend on your daughter-in-law. If you think I will give you any money, you need to think again, Nessa. That will never happen, so don't even bother asking me. No, this can't be happening. Nessa sank to the floor, crying like a banshee. The lawyer and I ignored her to carry on our own conversation. She remained on the floor crying and cursing me out while I casually strolled out of the funeral home after I was done. Nessa had her karma served to her, and it was now time to face the music. As the days passed, Nessa desperately tried to go against the will. She spent the last bits of her money trying to find a lawyer who would contest the will. Well, to no one's surprise, everyone refused. While she was busy doing this, I had served her an eviction notice. The house she lived in was mine now anyway. As the month was up, she tried to beg me to let her stay there. She even tried to use her crocodile tears to make me give her money. I closed the door on her face, of course. I was living with a friend and moved into the big house when Nessa was forced to move out. She moved into the small house and was stuck paying the mortgage. Since she had no money of her own and no job, she had to ultimately sell the house. The sale needed to be quick, so Nessa lost out on a lot of money. Not to mention the fact that the house wasn't even paid off completely. All in all, she only got enough money to support her for a year. I was there in my new house watching her every move. I saw her destruction with my own eyes. My stupid mother-in-law didn't even last a year with that money. Her terrible financial decisions made her homeless and penniless well within 8 months. Nessa did come back to beg me for help again. She tried to emotionally manipulate me by saying that her son would have wanted me to help her. I laughed in her face and told her her son already made his intentions clear. She didn't like that one bit. This time she couldn't even form a retort because she was down on her luck. Karma is truly an amazing thing. I saw her last week when I was out grocery shopping. She works at the cash counter now. She pretended not to know me. It was well and good with me. I didn't even feel sorry for her. I heard she's renting a place with 5 people now. All I can say is that she deserves it. As for me, I'm content being single in a big house and with the beautiful memories of my husband.